So I know you guys were going to talk about the game, and I should probably stick to talking about the game because then I'll be composed. I think it was a great performance by Texas. I thought they handled our pressure well enough to win the game. I thought their inside game was a huge presence, and I just thought their defensive effort was terrific. They made it tough on us. Obviously, that 6-minute stretch to start the second half was the difference in the game. But I'm proud of how our players battled. You know, I did think this would be a year for some championships or some celebrating, and it turned out to be more a year of almosts. But sometimes when you don't get exactly what you want, you learn really important things along the way. And we wanted the season to keep going because of where we are right now, and I'm really proud of that. And then I'll just say, what a ride with these two young women here. They're ready for the next thing. They're going to be fantastic pro basketball players. More importantly, they are wonderful representatives of the University of California. They've taken me on the ride of my life. And I don't, I have zero regrets. A couple weeks ago, I panicked around senior day, like, well, how's it going to be? And now I feel like it's time. We wanted it to go further, but proud of them. And then I'm glad Jefflo's up here because if anyone has learned sort of what Cal basketball is about, probably from these two, it's Jefflo. And the way that she has performed down the stretch of this season is something that makes us all excited. And I just think this is how college basketball works. You pass on what you have in you to the next generation, and I think you're seeing that right here with these two, Brittany and Rashonda up here with Jefflo. So.
Thank you very much. We'll take questions for the student athletes. As a reminder, please raise your hand. We'll get the mic out to you. Name and affiliation to begin.
This is for you, Rashonda. If you look at the numbers in the final stats, it's almost a shock to the system based on your points per game average, your production. As you look at it, the game's only been over for just a few minutes. Just kind of share with us just your emotions, your thought now that it's over.
Texas is a great team, and I wish we would have won, but this loss doesn't define who I am. I mean, everybody have their off day here and there, and today happened to be one of my off days.
In your opinion, a follow-up, what was the difference in the game?
I just had foul trouble. I just couldn't get a rhythm going, and I let my anxiousness get the best of me.
Mike Vernon, San Francisco Chronicle. Mercedes, what's it like for you to sit here and hear your coach say those things about you and kind of how you're next in line to be like those two next to you for the program?
Honestly, I only came to Cal because Rashonda and Boyd. Not the only reason, but I didn't know about Cal, being from SoCal. So seeing Boyd and seeing Gray play, I was just like, okay, I want to play with them. So it's great hearing Lindsay say that, but I think I'm aware that I'm up next.
Michelle Smith, ESPNW. Brittany, will you talk about how hard it was to get into the paint for a long time? I mean, it seemed like you guys were shooting from the outside because that's what you could get. And then also, every time you guys got some momentum, I mean, if they got the ball to their bigs inside, it looked like there wasn't a lot you guys could do to stop it.
Credit to their post players and the game plan. I think they were in the paint a lot. And one thing that I did mention in the press conference before is that we had to knock down open shots. And in the beginning of the game, we found rhythm. We were knocking down open shots. But I think what got us was the second half, really. Just coming out slow to start, not really getting the rhythm and giving them too many easy points. And, their post players, they came to play. They're making, doing their job for their team. And, credit to them, so yeah.
Stephanie Hammond from the Barry News Group. Brittany, you just kind of touched on this, but what was the difference in that 6-minute stretch where just nothing could go right for you guys?
Yeah, I think it was our defense because our defense leads to our offense. Our transition defense was horrible. I don't think we were communicating enough, but like I said, credit to them. They knew what they were doing, and they came out and executed really well.
Rick Cantu, the Austin American Statesman. Brittany, the usual suspects for Texas played really well, the bigs, but I thought Brooke McCarty, the freshman point guard, she didn't start, number 11. I thought she was, if not the difference, one of the differences. Was it a surprise, and what made her tough today?
No, it wasn't a surprise at all. She was a spark plug in the Western Kentucky game, and she was a spark plug today. Before this tournament, she was starting. So I don't think it was a surprise. We expected her to come, and just like we would expect anybody to come off the bench and be that extra spark plug off the bench, and that's what she was today. She did her job extremely well, and she contributed to her team win.
Janie McCauley from AP. Brittany and then Rashonda, you talked about the transition defense, but they also jumped in the passing lanes to create turnovers that led to some of that, you guys getting back maybe a little bit later.
Yeah.
What took you out of your game so much where they were able to create so many turnovers and steals and
Yeah, I just think we were being too lazy with our passes, not ball faking, doing the right technique. I think we were just being lazy and not putting a lot on our passes and hoping that it would get there. So we just weren't taking care of the ball. We were too sloppy, too lackadaisical, and I think that's why they were getting past the lane. They're a very athletic team, so with an very athletic team, you have to take care of the ball and make sure your passes are crisp.
Rashonda, can you talk about, you said maybe your anxiousness got the better of you. Was that anxiousness, was it nervousness? Was it excitement to be in this game, in this setting? Can you just talk about kind of how you were feeling?
It was just excitement of just being at home and just playing in front of you heard the crowd today. Like, it's just like a burst of energy, and I just got a little bit too happy and got a little bit too aggressive.
Mercedes, could you touch a little bit too on some of the turnovers they were able to create, and there were some stretches where you got in a really nice rhythm offensively, and sometimes maybe you looked a little bit rushed. What was your take on that?
I think Texas' game plan was really well. I think they, when we first started to have, I think they kind of sped us up a little bit. So it took us out of like what we're used to. So like Brittany said, like being lazy with our passes, I think that was definitely one of the things, which is why they was able to jump in those passing lanes and do stuff like that. But I just think basketball is a game to run, and they just had a longer run, I guess, for the 6 minutes that we didn't score.
Anything further for the student athletes?
Windbear Insider, this is for the two seniors. Can you talk a little bit about your final thoughts, about your final game here as the representing Cal?
I'm very thankful. I'm very blessed to have this opportunity to spend 4 years here in Berkeley. It's everything I could ever ask for, everything possible. Like, the coaches have done a wonderful job in preparing me for my next life and my next step in life and what's that going to be like. And like I said, words, feelings, actions can't describe how thankful and blessed I am. I'm glad God has put me in a position to be here, and thank you, just thank you to everybody in Cal just for trusting in me, especially Coach G, trusting in me since my freshman year. Like I said, words, nothing can really describe how thankful I am, how blessed I am just to be in this position I am in today.
I have no regrets. Picking Cal was like one of the best decisions in my life, and I'm very thankful and blessed to be here as well. And over the past years, I have created a lot of relationships. That's definitely going to be lifelong relationships, and I'm definitely coming back to visit and maybe help out with the team too.
All right, Brittany, Rashonda, Mercedes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we will take questions for Coach.
Morris Phillipson, full court coach. The entry passes to Imani came from a lot of different places. I know Mary Murphy was doing the game tonight, and she's probably saying you got to pressure the entry pass, but they're coming off the bounce from different people, really made it difficult to get a handle on, her getting the ball and when and how she was getting it.
Yeah, I agree. I think when somebody's 6'7" and has 4 inches over everybody else, the defense just can't be on her, right? We often talk about the best defense on Amani is the defense on the guards, and we just didn't turn them over enough. There's no question about it. Like they weren't as rattled by our pressure as we needed them to be. There were some times where our help side defense caused some turnovers in the first half. Just, their passes weren't precise or we were able to get our hands on them. But, the way we've been playing, especially when you face a size, disparity like tonight, and this is the first time all year they've played the two bigs together as much as they did, you have to get them, turn the ball over in the backcourt, because if they get, the ball to those two, where they have a clean look at the basket, it's very likely going to be a score because, they just have such a height advantage.
Coach, in that vein, but before the game, you had said in your pregame chat to the kids that you really wanted to protect this paint, really wanted to protect the inside. They scored 46 points on the inside. At what point in the game did you realize this is going to be a problem?
Well, I just, again, they did everything. I mean, their stat sheet looks the way we wanted ours to look, right? They did not let us get anything easy. I mean, you think about how we play, and we have a lot of different options now. I mean, you see a lot of kids scoring, but if somebody can take away, Rashonda's scoring in the paint or our scoring in the paint off the bounce and to other people, I mean, they limited, our 4 players in the paint too, who tend to get us buckets around the basket. That's tough for us. I thought they did a really nice job of sticking to their game plan and making that tough. And we talked with them about they're a really, really good team when they get easy things. So we can't give them easy things. We gave them too many easy things. Lobs to the big kids, layups in transition, uncontested shots. So when did I think it was going to be a problem? I mean, I actually felt good at halftime because I don't think we played particularly well offensively. I thought we hit some shots early and then we kind of went on a drought. So at halftime, Rashonda had hardly played. I thought we were going to get ourselves uncorked or whatever the word is, let's get going. And I thought we had more in us offensively. And then, of course, the first 6 minutes were a disaster. Offensively, we turned it over. We didn't get good looks. They scored, and then we made a really nice kind of adjustment and picked up the energy. But at that point, there was a deficit, and every time we cut it, they hit a big shot. So, again, credit to them. When we were down 10, and sometimes we go on a run and we get that run to 2. But every time we got it to 5, it went back to 9, and then we got it to 4, and then it went back up. So it was tough for us after that. The first 6 minutes, I'd say, were the biggest problem of the second half.
Coach Marcus Thompson, Barry News Group. There looked to be a moment where Brittany looked frustrated and ready to go, and it seemed like a switch flipped in her. She wanted to take over the game. Can you talk about what happened with her and the kind of leadership she showed?
Yeah, it's what you want out of your senior point guard who is not going to leave this court without a fight. She is not going to leave this court or any court without giving it everything she has. And I think she, was obviously concerned that they had scored, a bunch of transition baskets in a row. So, with a player like Brittany and what I've learned or what's been the fun kind of challenge over the 4 years, when you have sort of like a Picasso, when you have someone who's really good at what they do, you don't want to mess with that too much. That fiery thing, and at the same time, getting her to see when she should temper it and when she should go. So I was trying to, hey, we got to take care of the ball. We're not scoring. It's putting pressure on our defense. Let's get everyone going. We can weather this storm. And she was just trying to get everybody going. Like, hey, let's get stops. And it was good. It got everyone going. And at the same time, I wanted her to remain, level-headed enough to be able to make plays. I thought she did a great job of that because she made a ton of plays after that, and I think helped. Ramped up our energy level, from that point on. It just was a little bit too late. The damage had been done in that first 6 minutes, I think, of the second half. I think, again, with such a talented player, I would be doing her a disservice if I tried to put her in some kind of box, right? The greatest in any field have a little bit of that edge to them, and that's what Brittany has always been, this wonderful talent who, I think we've taught her a lot, and she's grown in our system a ton, and it's been, like I said, an incredibly fun ride. But my philosophy has always been, she has a ton more talent than I've ever had, so let me try and teach her some things and let her, not put, reins on what is good about her. And so that emotion and the other players on the team, I think, respect her so much that sometimes letting her get fired up, we needed at that moment. But at the same time, temper it and saying, hey, got to get stops, got to do this on offense, got to take care of the ball, we'll be okay. So it's a little balance of both.
Last question, Michelle.
Lindsay, on the flip side of that coin, will you talk about Rashonda's night? Because that was not probably the way she or you would want her to go out.
Yeah. I told her in the locker room, with respect to her, I'm not going to think about this game a whole lot more after this. It does not define her at all. I mean, she's had an unbelievable career here, again, from the classroom to the community to what she has done night in and night out with 3 people on her is pretty impressive. She played 19 minutes, couldn't get in a rhythm. I thought in the first half when she finally was just like, oh, I can score, did a drop step and finished, then she quickly got a foul in our press, which was her second foul. So she just couldn't get in a rhythm. Obviously, she's playing against a lot of size, and she never got going, and she never got anything easy, and it just was rough. But like I said, I'll spend about 0 more seconds thinking about her performance in this game, because there's a million other things to think about with her career here that are so wildly amazing.